This is the Epoch Times.
Welcome to Epoch Audio, showcasing the best journalism covering news, culture, and society, addressing issues overlooked or avoided by other media. For the text version of this and more articles providing truth, tradition, and hope, please go to theepochtimes.com.
If Canada is a likely target for terrorist attacks, Canadians need to know. By Phil Gursky. Does the UK know something of the terrorist threat to Canada that we don't? We in Canada are very fortunate to belong to a club called the Five Eyes. This is a post-World War II collection of like-minded, well, mostly like-minded most of the time, Anglo countries, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and the United States, that share very sensitive intelligence among themselves. The agreement to do so stems from a variety of factors: shared history and culture, common experiences in wartime and peacetime, the English language, and an overall sense that we are all on the same side on many matters. Canada was, is, and will most likely forever be a net importer of this intelligence. Yes, we have fine institutions ourselves, CSE and CSIS primarily, but we will never be able to compete with the UK and United States when it comes to size, budgets, resources, and capabilities. Since we get more than we give, we need to manage this relationship carefully. The current government under Justin Trudeau not only seems to not care about intelligence, witness the deplorable dismissal of CSIS information on People's Republic of China interference in our last two federal elections, but irresponsibly released sensitive signals intelligence on evidence of alleged Indian government involvement in the killing of a Sikh activist in BC a few months back. Now, we have learned that the UK has issued a warning to its citizens that a terrorist attack on Canada is very likely. This immediately caught my eye as our own threat level, set by Integrated Terrorism Assessment Center, housed within CSIS, has not moved from medium, the middle of 5 levels ranging from very low to critical, since October 2014. That was the month 2 jihadis killed 2 Canadian soldiers over a 2-day period. The medium level says a terrorist attack could occur. What gives? Why the difference? Is an attack very likely or just possible? Normally, threat levels change when intelligence is received pointing to an increased likelihood of an attack. Not surprisingly, the UK will not disclose that intelligence publicly, and unhelpfully did not tell us what kind of terrorism is very likely. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, however, to put 2 and 2 together. The Islamist terrorism is still by far the number one threat globally, and a jihadi did stab someone in BC in April. This is not to say that other forms, far right, far left, etc., are also possible, but no one can argue that jihadis are not the dominant form of this kind of violence. In fairness, the UK has issued similar warnings for other nations, such as Uganda, but the inclusion of Canada is puzzling. We are, after all, not a country where terrorism is rampant. In my 2022 book, The Peaceful Kingdom, I looked at terrorism dating back to Confederation, and on average, an attack transpires once every 7 years, although there have been more incidents of late skewing the average. Does the UK have intelligence we don't? Did it share its data with CSIS or the RCMP? Do our agencies disagree with the British assessment? Or is the current government yet again dismissing real threats because it is inconvenient to admit we have individuals willing to kill for a cause? It's also not hard to understand that the ongoing war in Gaza is leading to a huge increase in attacks against Jewish targets, and that Hamas and other jihadi groups have vowed to step up their actions. As a consequence, it's thus more likely that an attack, should one occur, would be either Islamist or far left in nature. There is an odd marriage between the far left and Islamists in certain ways, since some see Hamas as liberators rather than the terrorist group it is, listed as such by the Canadian government. If, and this is a big if, the UK is holding back, I doubt they are in all truth, it speaks to the damage this government has caused to our reputation among our closest allies. Our defense spending is a joke. Our government refuses to call terrorism what it is, as does the CBC. We try to be nice to everyone and panic at the mere thought that anything we say or do will offend one single human being. Check out the change in language on Remembrance Day prayers. It is no wonder, as my sources tell me, that our friends are asking just what is going on in the Great White North. The Trudeau government needs to stop saying "nothing to see here, folks," as it did on Beijing's election interference, and get serious. Our Five Eyes alliance has been maintained for decades. We cannot afford to lose it. If the terrorist threat level is higher, Canadians need to know. Thanks for listening to Epoch Audio. This was If Canada is a Likely Target for Terrorist Attacks, Canadians Need to Know, written by Phil Gursky and read for you by Chris Rod. Views expressed in this article are opinions of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Epoch Times.
For more Epoch Times articles in text, please visit theepochtimes.com.
This is the Epoch Times.